Hello, and welcome back to Oolykee Gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and welcome back to our another report for the community, number 61. This is report for the community number 61, that's the recycling and all. Yeah, it's really great. Says that here it's a 4-minute read. I think Oolykee is going to take a little bit longer to go through all of this, and definitely it's really nice update. It's one of my favorite updates. I like recycling. I like the idea of recycling, not the current way we're doing it, but the idea of reusing older materials that we have. I think it's great in real life, and I think it's gonna be great in this game as well. So unlike Oolykee is not a big fan, if you follow this channel, is not a big fan of planes, is not a big fan of metros. I don't think they have a currently place in this game. It was just shiny things to attract new players, to sell more games, but maybe that's something that's necessary. Anyway, I'm not a big user and fan of those. I love the aluminum though, or aluminum. I really like that part of the game, mining, processing, industry, all of that stuff. Anyway, let's go and read real quickly through the report for the community number 61. Right, greetings comrade of the Soviet Republic. Day by day our days are getting colder, and even the world is approaching in a difficult winter, raising a real life problem. Yes, sure. Last week we delayed the report. Yes, no time fixing bugs. Actually, I prefer this if they don't release the updates, like these reports for the community, because there was not enough material to write about. Actually, that's true, but also that's probably one of the best things they ever did, actually fixed the damn things in this game, which is great. So feel free to give us less reports for the community and do more, fixing in the background. That would be really great. There were mostly bug fixes done in the past weeks, big ones, fuel, but we were able to add some small things like an option to get notified when storage runs out. This is great. We don't want to be notified when storage runs out, but when storage is running out. Personally, I think we should know when our production is being overtaken by consumption, and for example, if we have big tanks of water and when our consumption of water is greater than the production, this is when we need to know about this. Then we can rely on our tanks to keep the people supplied with water, for example, coal to the power plants, oil to refineries, and then we can focus on increasing the capacity. So this is going to make actual capacity or tanks worthwhile having, because we know then we are starting to lose water, coal, oil, whatever it is, and we need to address it. So when the consumption overtakes the production, this is what notification we need. I'm not sure if this is going to cover it, but this is basics of what we need. Right, so let's continue on. There were mostly bugs fixed last probably, getting notified when storage runs out, and we also added a few more options to customize controls. Great. This report will be about waste management though. We want to give you deeper look into the concept of this new feature which will come with after the metro update, yeah, whatever. Waste management. Player will have 3 options to decide if he/she wants to play with the waste management and how much does he/she want to deal with that. Waste management turned on and off is obvious, but there will be more realistic mode which will require more management and facilities, because it will require demolition office. Yes, there's gonna be recycling of steel to remove remains of demolished buildings, and then you will need special facilities to process and separate several types of waste. More about demolition in upcoming reports. New resource waste will be introduced, and it's made similarly to water, which shows as a water but includes different components. It's wastewater and fresh water in different ratios. You will be able to build new facility called recycling center, which will be able to separate different components from waste from further use. But there will also be an option to burn all the waste to produce some heat or power by that, or just store it somewhere. This is interesting. So technically we can recycle and burn stuff for heat and heat and electricity, and this is gonna make 18 AM really happy, because finally he's gonna have plastic furnaces, plastic burning power plants and heating plant. Technically the stuff that you can recycle will be plastic as well, so 18 AM is gonna be ecstatic about this one. Waste as a resource will include these components. Biological waste, when it's left storage, it can be when it's left in the storage, it can be turned into fertilizer. This is a huge one. Fertilizer is going to be another resource in the game, which I think I'm really looking forward to this. Or can be processed in a special facility into fertilizer. More about fertilizer in upcoming reports. Biological waste is burnable and has a medium heat value. Don't waste biological waste. Fertilize everything. Probably even like, you know, dead bodies. Steel metal waste. When separated from waste, it's steel aluminum scrap, and it can be turned into steel or aluminum in special facilities. Scrap can be stored in aggregate storages and are not burnable. Construction waste, that's great. I'm really happy about it. Even when you burn it, I think you still get steel from that. Construction waste, when you separate it, it turns into construction rubble. With further processing, it can be turned into gravel, which can be reused in a construction. Great, that's concrete smashed down into gravel. Construction waste is not burnable. That's self-explanatory. Plastic waste. After separation, it can be transported into special facilities where new plastic is created from the waste. It's burnable, but with small heat value, and when burning, it produces higher amount of pollution. Doesn't matter, 18 AM, plastic burning machine. Continuing, toxic waste. Now this is a downside. We're gonna talk about this. Cannot be processed to anything. It can be burnt with very low heat value and very high pollution. When it's stored, it's causing pollution too. So this is toxic waste. It's gonna cause pollution whatever you do with it. So probably like burning it far away from the cities is probably gonna be the best, just to get rid of it. But also you can have a long-term storage, like you can build storage, you know, as a long-term one. Continuing on, it's burnable waste such as remains from boards or so, which are burnable with higher heat value and relatively low pollution. That's kind of also self-explanatory, because you have like door frames, window frames, just a wooden material that you have from demolishing the construction, but also what people throw away, picture frames, whatever, any wooden material that can burn. And I believe under wooden you can also consider like paper, and you know how much paper we waste. Right, which is burnable with a high heat value and relatively low pollution. General waste and unspecified waste which cannot be recycled but can be burned with a medium heat value. That's probably paper as well. Ashes. This is a downside. Ashes is going to be a big downside. In general, when something is burned except scraps and for construction construction rubble, ashes create which cannot be burnt anymore. What do we do with ash? That's gonna be interesting. There are all the different components of waste, and every waste produced is a mixture of these with different ratios. For example, one facility may produce waste which contains 10% of biological waste, 30% of steel scrap, and 50% of general waste, and 10% of plastic. Like you have these different types. Like for construction material is gonna have more, let's say, the rubble that can be turned into gravel, and then steel as well, because of the steel reinforcements within concrete, and then some domestic waste is going to have more biological waste that you can turn into compost, and so on and so on. Then you can use the recycling center to separate steel scrap, plastic waste from the latter process that into a steel and plastic in special facilities. Or you can just bring this into incinerator, and you will get on the output some energy and pollution with some ashes and steel scrap. For example, 15% ashes, 85% steel scrap. Then you can bring this waste into recycling center and separate steel scrap from ashes. It's up to you. Waste collection. Right, regarding this, the ash is going to be a big thing. I don't know how important, like what can we do to get rid of ash. I'm not really sure what can be exported, like nuclear waste. I don't know, but ash might be, if this is something that is continuously going to be accumulated, that might be a problem if you can't get rid of it. But look, this is a problem in real life as well. Coal power plants are more polluting than nuclear ones. Even nuclear ones have this radioactive thing. Well, coal ash is radioactive as well, so plus you have enormously more amounts of it, so less radioactive though, but still this is a problem in the real world, but I'm not sure how big of a problem it's going to be in this game. I hope we can get rid of the ash somehow. I have no idea. I spread it on the fields, on the roads during the winter, stuff like that maybe. Anyway, let's move on. Moving on, waste collection. It will work similar to water. Every building will have default waste storage, but you will be able to build container stands which will act similar to water substations, and the waste in their range will be stored in them. This way garbage trucks do not need to visit each building and thus can save some time. We are planning also to introduce research which will allow you to build container stands which have different waste components already separated. That would be like, we call it green islands in the Balkans, but recycling areas where you can recycle. In Ireland you have like glass, plastics and this kind of stuff you can separate yourself if you want to put it in the separate waste. And now of course it's not 100% clean, you don't get 100% plastic, there's always paper, there's always stuff. So it's like recycling is going to be needed for these ones too as well. Right, moving on to facilities. We will have several types of facilities to process and store waste. Incinerators will be used to burn waste and produce heat or power. Different plants will be used to process waste back into resources, and there will be different waste separating facilities, etc. Right, these are the nice photos of, well, obviously this is metal loading, unloading. Maybe it's not, who knows, but like you have a nice grappling arm there. This looks like an incinerator. Again, I'm assuming could be, I don't know, it's an incinerator. And then we have this one. This looks like the recycling facility. Right. We hope you can see the potential for this new feature. It may become quite complex, but there will be an uncomplicated way for those who want rubbish, but their only intention is to burn it. It should not be too complicated to implement into existing Republic, as you will need only to build the waste storages. Get the technical services equipped with the garbage trucks, and then you can build the container stands and other facilities to separate and reuse some of the waste components. And that is all we have for you in this report. Yada yada yada. Enjoy, have fun, life, yada yada yada. Right, so this is really interesting. I'm looking forward to see what's gonna happen with ash, and I don't think it's all black and white, that you're just gonna have internal accumulation of waste of ash and that you're not gonna be able to get rid of it. I think there's gonna be a way to get rid of it, but I don't know how. I'm looking forward to see that. I love the recycling and these green islands that you're gonna have separate facilities for the containers. I think they're gonna be absolutely great. Toxic waste, I think that's going to be interesting as well, how to get rid of those, and I can't wait for the mods. I believe our modders, our community is going to create amazing mods for these new features, and I'm really looking forward to using them. I think this is one of the best updates recently. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not the biggest fan of airplanes and what else? The metro. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't think there's place for this in this game, and it looks nice, but it's not going to be that useful. But anyway, this is going to be really great. I'm really looking forward to this, and yeah, stay tuned for further news.